Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be putting together an envelope generator, and an envelope generator changes the waveform that's coming out of anything that is being put towards it. Now I'm going to be throwing out the old pen and paper so we can learn a little bit more about what an envelope generator is, why I need one, why I'm building one, and why it is a fundamental part of any synthesizer. So without further ado, let's hit the paper and learn a little bit about what this device is that I'm going to be building today. So what is an envelope generator, and why do I need one, and how does it work? So first thing we'll do is we'll start off with a simple square waveform. Ooh, I like these brush Sharpies. They're really nice. In any case, so this is just like a boop or a boop, depending on how long it lasts. Now, that is an immediate increase in pitch and an immediate decrease in pitch. Boop, boop. So what an envelope generator does is you can change the attack, the decay, the sustain, and the release. And they're commonly known as ADSR envelope generators. Now, the one that I'm going to be building does not have the decay and does not have the sustain capabilities. But attack and release are still really fun to work with, and an integral part of the foundation of a modular synthesizer. So how the envelope generator changes this waveform here would look something like this. And it would split up into 4 different sections: the A, the D, the S, and the R. So in this section here, you are making changes to the attack. And what this does is it just judges the amount of time that it takes for the pitch to go from naught to the high point. So this can be changed in various ways. How long it takes to go. So the attack will move this point of the peak back further towards this area. So that would be like that. To here, it would be like that. To here, it would be like that. Now, this is the decay. And for D, now the decay is the amount of time that it takes to drop to a sustain point. So this is the point in which you can make the note stay at one pitch with the envelope generator, which would be the length of the top of the waveform here if there weren't any attack, decay, or release effects being put in. Just the length of the waveform is adjustable from here, and how long these take to get where they're going. You would shorten the sustain if you're looking to have the same length of note, but you're looking to have it modulated in some way. So this is the release, and this is how long it takes for the sustain point to go back to naught. Now, with just the AR, my square waveform would look something like this. So there would be the normal, and what I would be doing was be going from naught and gradually going to here, and then gradually going back down. So this would be my attack, and this would be my release, and this would be the natural sustain point. So now that you have a bit of an understanding as to what the envelope generator is doing to the waveform, I will go ahead and start throwing this thing on the strip board, and we will get it tested as soon as we possibly can. So I have a little bit of the board with just my kind of benchmarks, just to give myself an idea of where to place some of the components for the beginning. Now, I got lost doing it any further than on this side. So I think once I have this side, then I can go ahead and benchmark the other side. And it just makes the build a lot easier to go ahead and mark your locations. Now, I haven't done this for previous videos, and I made a couple of mistakes. So I'm going to try this new method to eliminate some of those problems and some of those mistakes. So this build process wasn't as difficult as the other one. It was far less complex, and the circuit design was certainly a little bit more paint by numbers than what I had been dealing with earlier. So I really had no trouble putting this together, no mistakes, no mess ups, no real difficulty, just time consuming, but that's to be expected with a project like this. Sorry about the hat in the high-speed build. I didn't realize that it was going out over the camera, so hey, gotta learn another new thing today is take the hat off while soldering. Whew. So normally I have everything that I need to get these projects completed, but in this instance I needed a 105 ceramic capacitor, and I just didn't have one. And I looked everywhere, and none of the ones that I have, the values went up that high. So I managed to score a SMD component off of an old stereo board that I had. So I fortunately was able to salvage a 105. So I'll just solder some legs on it, toss it in the tester, and hopefully it works, and I don't have to wait to have something shipped to continue forward with this project. The envelope generator is complete. I have tested it, and unfortunately the video where I did the initial test went poof. But let's head on over to the case that I've built, and let's give it another test. I'll show the function of it basic, and then I'll show a lot more of the functions as it can interact with something that sends and receives a control voltage. So let's head on over to my bed, because I have yet to build my second desk, and let's get this thing tested out, and you can hear the magical wonders that it can create. Okay, so we have the oscillator and the envelope generator installed in the case. So let's just go ahead and play around with it a little bit. So we can do the square wave, which I'm sure that you're familiar with if you saw the build video of this. So then what we want to do is we want to take the control voltage from, they're already getting tied up. I want to take the control voltage out from the envelope generator and put it into the control voltage in of the oscillator. And then we'll do a little bit of testing on the attack and the release. So as you can see, it's an immediate increase and drop in pitch. But let's put a little attack on it. And it falls away immediately with no release. And we'll do the opposite. We'll put some release on it. And that's how the envelope generator can change that to this. Now we can have a little bit more fun with this since we're here. So we want to pull the control voltage, and what we want to do is turn the beat step on. So we want to put the first sequencer in the control voltage in on the oscillator, and we want to put the other sequencer on the control voltage in on the envelope generator, and then we want to take the control voltage out of the envelope generator and put it into the pulse width modulation. So what that's going to do, here's the 1 volt per octave. This is the pink. And when we go up to the other sequencer, we can turn the pulse width, turn the attack down, now this is just controlling the pulse width. Now normally you would do that here, and as you can see, when I turn the pulse width modulation all the way down, we get no effect. Pulse width modulation up, and it sends the envelope into the pulse width modulator. So then let's go ahead and mute sequencer 2 and set this up to something that sounds alright. And then we'll mute sequencer 1 and unmute sequencer 2. Now this is just a random thing that I put in here. Just to make it make some spacey noises. And then if we unmute the sequencer, what you'll get is you'll get a modulation of this using the envelope generator. And you can hear the difference. Now obviously you can play around with this and you can make the modulation per set the way that you want it and do all kinds of complex, complicated stuff, but this is just to show you that it will actually affect it in an interesting way. So we'll turn the pulse width modulation down. And go ahead and turn it down again so you can hear the difference. And that's the envelope generator doing its thing, and it's a lot of fun to mess with, and it really is an integral part of building a modular synthesizer. There's just so much you can do with it. There is a bit of an issue where when I put the attack up, I can only get release. So it's interesting. It's a little bug in the system that I have yet to figure out. But all in all, I'm happy with the build, and I'm more than happy with the results. So let's have a little chat to wrap it up. So the envelope generator works. It's finished. It is a finished product. It's mounted, and it does all kinds of fun, funky things to the sound. There was one issue where when I have the control voltage going in and a control voltage going out, I can't get the attack to go very far up the range. In fact, you adjust it even the slightest amount and it just seems to short the whole thing out. Now, I'm thinking that the 10 NF capacitor is the one that's the problem here, because I was getting a nice, decent long attack and release when I wasn't throwing the voltage over to the pulse width modulation of the oscillator. So I'm confused as to why that's happening. I don't really think I'm going to take the time to tear it apart and change the value of the capacitor because I'm happy with what it's doing right now. I just want to make sure that later, once I have more modules, that I can send the control voltage out to other devices without that problem kind of road blocking the functionality of it. But for now, I'm happy with the results. It's just one of those things, right? Like you make it yourself, and I mean, I took plans from the internet to put it together and kind of adjusted them a little bit for what I needed, but I really did need that 105 capacitor. That I really did need. So it was the other capacitor value that is the one that seems to be overloading, and I'm confused by it, but I'm also pretty sure what is going on. Now, it's not really going to be too big of a problem, but it's never satisfying when something is not operating 100% as you expect it to. But again, that's kind of the fun of it, is figuring out what is wrong with it and deciding whether you want to change it or not. So I'm not going to change it now, but I may tear it apart when I build another one and change the capacitor value in the other one and see if that works. And if it does, then I'll just go ahead and change it in the one that I built previously. So I hope that you learned something about envelope generators and about the envelope of a waveform and how you can adjust a waveform to make different funky, spacey sounds with a synthesizer. Now, I've only got an envelope generator and an oscillator and a sequencer, and I can already make some pretty interesting, fun noises. I wouldn't exactly call it music, because you don't... At this stage, I'm not really planning on making music exactly. It's more of just a musical adventure, or a like traveling. I call it the spaceship because I do feel like I'm traveling in a whole other realm that I've never been able to travel in before. The realm of music. I don't know how to play guitar or play drums or any of that stuff. And all the time that I've spent around the music industry, I was more concerned with how much toilets cost than the sounds that were going on behind me during the festivals. So it's been an interesting learning process, and I'm happy with the results ultimately. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you stay tuned for the next video. I'm not sure what I've got cooked up yet. I think I'm just going to make something easy, like a mixer or a attenuator or something, just to have more ways to send things around other than what's on the front panels themselves. So, yeah, it's Canada Day, so happy Canada Day. I actually went to work this morning having no idea that it was Canada Day, and when I got to work and there was nobody there, I was like, is it Sunday? Did I miss a whole day? What's going on here? So I looked at my phone and, right, it is Monday, and it is Canada Day, so happy Canada Day, everybody.
I just wanted to see how long I could hold that.